the next word on our vocab list is going to be a lien. In the Northeast, we do call them liens, and I'm not talking about leaning up against the wall or having meat cut so that it's nice and lean. We're talking about a lien, L-I-E-N, and basically a lien is a legal claim on property. The way I would look at it would be you have voluntary liens and you have involuntary liens. A voluntary lien would be walking into a bank and getting a mortgage on a piece of property that you own. You're basically exchanging a lien. You're giving the bank a lien on that property and they're giving you money, essentially. And what you're signaling to the bank is that as soon as I paid the bank all that money that I borrowed from them, that lien that's against my property, which is typically a matter of public record, it'll be released or it'll be discharged or satisfied and it won't be a lien on my property any longer. Then we get into involuntary liens. And involuntary liens are I would say, less, well, they're certainly not pleasant like voluntary ones. Tax liens, for instance. So if you owe money to the Internal Revenue Service, and you essentially get into arrears, or you get behind with the Internal Revenue Service, you either don't pay your taxes, and if the IRS determines that you own property in a certain place or a certain state, but that you're behind on your taxes or you haven't filed tax returns for 3 or 4 years, they're gonna place a tax lien. So if somebody searches that property either because it's for sale or you're trying to get a mortgage with the local bank, they're actually gonna see that tax lien. So they're gonna know that before they can do anything with that property and with you, that tax lien needs to be addressed, typically paid off. And then we have judgment liens. So if you're involved in litigation with another party, maybe a car accident or some kind of a legal dispute, and that dispute basically results not in your favor. So the judge says, okay, well, this case is over. And as far as I'm concerned, you owe the plaintiff $100,000. So that plaintiff, as part of their collection efforts, as part of their effort to be made whole, they can actually place a judgment lien. They're basically telling the rest of the world, hey, if this property is sold or refinanced, that's fine, but I need to get my $100,000 first. And then finally, we have like a contractor's lien. Contractors have the right to get a lien against a property, a mechanic's lien or a materialman's lien, under circumstances where they have provided work or services or materials or contracting services to a property, but they're not paid. So the homeowner might, employ contractors to fix the place up and make it more valuable, and then conveniently forget to pay them, sell the property and ride off into the sunset. Well, we really don't want that to happen. It's also involuntary because obviously, basically what that basically is saying is that, you employed this contractor to do work at your home, but that you didn't pay them. When you hear the word lien, most people think of that word as having a negative connotation, but there's nothing negative about voluntary liens. But we talked about some of the involuntary liens, and those obviously are of a more sort of negative variety, and those are things that should be avoided. And that's everything, hopefully, that you ever wanted to know about liens.